Hi, Carmen.
Hey, Michael.
How are you? So, before I present this award, first I'll say a few words after Carmen, but all the folks, it's your first Teacher Union Day, please come back. I will tell you that we don't design it on purpose, as Mr. Murphy said. It's not on Marathon Day on purpose. It's in recognition of our first strike that was led by our president, Charles Cogen. And without that strike, I guarantee you all we would not be here today. So that is the reason why we do this. And that is the reason why the highest honor that we can bestow internally is this award. It's called the Charles Cogen Award. And this year, we have an amazing recipient, someone who I know quite well, but so many of you know just as well, because Carmen has served this union for quite some time. That's the way I'm going to say it. But you don't serve that long unless you're effective. So I'll go back that Carmen was a resource room teacher in the 1970s. We all know, those of us who know her passion for children with special needs. And you can tell because she started as a resource room teacher, then pushed, and let's be honest, there's a lot of things that we push educationally that sometimes people are uncomfortable with change. Carmen understood that it was important to go to the least restrictive environment. She understood it was important to work with parent groups and advocacy groups because school districts were not doing the right thing. They were struggling. And when school districts struggle, they would prefer not to deal with it. And Carmen said, that's not going to happen here. And she used her voice to constantly push not just the school system, but the union also. And sometimes that's hard, because people are comfortable. And sometimes to make real change, as we know, we have to make people uncomfortable. And we got to look in the mirror. And in the case of this union, everybody who was uncomfortable with it had to deal with Carmen. And she wasn't having it. And we've come a long way, but as Carmen told me just a few weeks ago, we still have more to do. It's a fight that does not stop. And there's always something out there that will get in the way or misunderstand things. And Carmen's thing is to try to educate people at all times. Sit with them. Listen. They're anxious. The student can be anxious. The teacher can be anxious. The parent can be anxious. You sit. You listen. You guide them through this. Her belief that humanity, as long as you are there and caring, will understand that what you're trying to do is the right thing as long as they know you care is the essence of why she is such a great woman. She changed me numerous times. When I came into the union, she gave me a plant. She gave me a plant.
IEP.
Yep, it's an IEP thing. She felt if I took care of the plant, I wouldn't be bouncing off the walls all over the place. She gave me this beautiful plant, and she was like, you got to take care of it now. And I remember looking, and I was like, well, that was nice. This woman just gave me a plant. Very odd. I thought it was odd. No one had ever given me a plant before. I don't know if that says a lot about my upbringing. But she always took time to help me and mentor me when I was a vice president. She would take time to show me about how you get things done inside of a union and a bureaucracy, about how, when members are angry and frustrated, you deal with that situation, and about how, if you have a plan and you have a group around you, you can get amazing things done. Carmen taught me those things. But I'm not the only person she taught those things to. You taught that to generations of union leaders. The functional chapters in this union would not be where they are today without Carmen Alvarez. It's just black and white. It's that simple, period, end of story. She was their champion at all time. And even, and we had this discussion. I know I'm going to say. Carmen had told me about a year ago that she was thinking of retiring. So I said, whatever you want to do, I will support. Clearly, this union owes you a huge debt, and the members and the children of the city owe you a huge debt. And then Carmen went on a tirade of work that you would not believe. All of a sudden, Carmen was doing projects everywhere, in schools constantly. And I remember looking at her, and then I said, are you still thinking of retiring? And she goes, yeah, but I want to get done as much as I possibly can before I do it. And that's why it is a no-brainer why the Charlie Cogen Award should go to Carmen Alvarez. It's that simple. So when you have a person who is clearly dynamic, who understands how to move people, who has made a difference in literally now hundreds of thousands of children's lives in New York City have been positively affected because literally this woman's work. She did that. Teachers, tens of thousands of teachers. Despite all the struggles we still continue to have, many of struggles from the past have been overcome because of this woman's work. It is that simple. And for us, as a union, that's all we want, but it is so hard to achieve. And even with your Positive Learning Collaborative, as safety became more and more of an issue, Carmen says, we'll figure it out. If we leave it to others, they will mess it up. And she said she would figure it out. And she did. But personally, I love Carmen Alvarez. She is one of the strongest people I've ever met. She's made a difference in my life. She is very humble about what she has done for so many others, and I don't even believe she realizes how many people she has actually made this world a better place for. So it is my honor to bestow the highest union award to Carmen Alvarez, the champion for all of the needy children and the teachers who serve them.
You want me to hold it?
Yeehaw! Wow. I have to tell you, this has been an inspirational day. I want to absolutely congratulate all the honorees, the students that were here. Mr. Sousa, you were just, I wish I said what you said. You were very inspirational. And for all of you, the friends and family of the honorees, your honorees have a great future for this UFT, and I am excited to see where it's going to go. So I have to say before I begin, because I don't want to forget, that I want to give special thanks to my family. Esther, my sister, my sissy wissy, I love you. My brother-in-law, Ian, my niece, her fiance, Veronica, Daryl, Mark, my nephew, my wonderful husband, Gene, who many of you know, is home, the whole entire Scaglione family. Also, Amanda, let me see how, I said Mark, gotta make sure I said, because I would tell you for sure, and everybody in this room knows it, if it wasn't for your family, and your friends, if it wasn't for my family and my friends, I would not be standing here today. I cannot do it without them. So I need a little water. I'm getting mouth. Yeah, it's going to be a little long, so I apologize in advance. One of the things I want to say to Michael, you really got me, dude. Holy fuck. That was amazing. And one of the things Michael says before I go into my written words, he said, Carmen, are you still having fun? I said, you know what? I am. And that's because as a leader, he just validated everything you heard him say about what I can do, that I don't even realize he just said, go ahead and do it. And so let me just share some thoughts about my journey through education and this union. Today, I am standing in a space of deep gratitude as a recipient of this highest of honors given by my sisters and brothers in the name of the legendary educator and unionist, Charles Cogen. I have to say I struggled with what to say, so I looked into one of my daily sources of inspiration to guide my words. It's called the Maxwell Leadership Bible, New King James Version. Thank you, Evelyn de Jesus. It's a gift that keeps giving. Amen. One recent morning reading, Psalm 49, 12 to 17, focused on the law of priorities when activity becomes achievement. God encourages us to fix our eyes on things that endure. Leaders cannot be consumed with the temporary. Leaders cannot allow the pursuit of wealth or power to move them. Only a vision that outlives them, a vision connected to eternity, will fulfill a godly leader. In other words, we must build a legacy. What are we going to leave behind when we leave or die? So what will we leave behind that counts? It further differentiates inheritance from legacy. An inheritance is something you leave to your family or loved ones, but it can also fade. Legacy is something you leave in your family and loved ones. The reading further lists the 4 aspects of legacy, and I added a word or two. The first thing is legacy, something tangible you place in others. Vision. 2, permanently transforms them with purpose and conviction. 3, lives on long after you die. Leadership team builds and expands. Your activity becomes achievement. What you manifest continues and evolves. So I examined Charles Cogen's leadership through these 4 attributes of legacy. Charles Cogen, a diminutive, well-educated man, a civil rights activist, who recognized the right to collectively bargain was central to the profession of teaching. That was his vision. 58 years to the month, he organized with his leadership team a strike that won the right for teachers to collectively bargain, purpose and conviction, and unified guilds and other teacher organizations into the United Federation of Teachers and became its first president. Leadership team builds, expands, and continues to evolve, the UFT. Amen. That's right. He left UFT and became president of the AFT, starting a new legacy cycle there. Out of Cogen's leadership team came Al Shanker, who became the 2nd president of the UFT. His legacy is massive. But I must say, one of his extraordinary achievements was establishing our paraprofessional chapter, which is getting stronger and bigger every day. Right, Shelby? Amen, sister. Amen. Then he became the AFT president and once again started his legacy cycle there. Out of his leadership team came Sandra Feldman. Sandra Feldman, civil rights activist, became the first woman president of the UFT who continued and expanded the legacy of Cogen and Shanker with her leadership team. And this is where I came into the Cogen lineage. Sandra broke the glass ceiling of diversity within the UFT. Vision. I was the first Latino officer for the Vice Presidency of Special Education. I was the first chair of the UFT Hispanic Affairs Committee. There are many, yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it for Hack. As part of her leadership team, and by observing her deal with challenging circumstances and triumphs, I acquired and enhanced my skills as a leader. Early in my tenure, I realized if I was going to lead the world of special education on behalf of the UFT, I needed a team of professionals. And I said, Sandy, we need an education lawyer who will inform us how we need to proceed in this very litigious world. And magically, Sister Liz Truly, who we love, was hired, and we have been partners ever since. Purpose and conviction. Did Sandra know that the UFT would become the union of professionals with contracts for nurses, public and non-public, OT, PTs, advancing SLP, early childhood providers, school psychologists, social workers, and more than 17 additional functional chapters? Did she realize in the universe of special education, UFT would be respected locally, statewide, and nationally? Maybe. We don't know. But again, everybody here has a moment that they know they're on the right track and they pick up the gears. My moment happened, I'm not sure it was NYSET or AFT, and Sandra was already diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had a little pixie haircut, blonde, cute as hell. And she was fragile. So I waited till the hall emptied, and I quickly walked over to her, because I could tell she wanted to wait till everybody left. And I said to her, Sandy, and this was about 2000, 2002, I said, Sandy, thank you so much for allowing me to be the vice president of the UFT. And she looked at me and she smiled, Carmen, you are one of the best people I ever brought to the UFT, and I am so proud of you. It was in that moment I really went into high gear. I knew all my activities would be based on the conviction of the vision. If you provide the best services to our most needy students, our staff will be served well. If we do right by our young people and give them everything they need, our staff will do well. From Sandy's leadership team, Randy Weingarten became the next UFT president. Yes, indeedy, that's our sister. She's still up there, AFT, going wild. A first in almost everything she has done within the UFT Cogen lineage. As part of her leadership team, there were many ventures she supported in the area of special education. Our special education complaint system, our doctorate online program for SLP under the guidance of Pitbull leadership of Mindy Carton-Barneman, and Virginia Hill, I see you, girl. Thank you, Virginia. And it still goes on. And those are just a few of the incredible achievements we did collectively and what she did for the entire UFT. Randy moved on as the AFT president, and out of Randy's leadership team and the Cogen lineage legacy continues with our wonderful Michael Mulgrew as the 5th president of the United Federation of Teachers. As you've heard him speaking of organizational challenges, he's had some whoppers. And yet, with his leadership team, we have conquered and evolved with each situation. Special education had a particular notorious event that we have and continue to work through to this day. You know what it is. It starts with an S and ends with an S. What is it? CSAS. Damn. Yes. And the exceptional team that worked through those 17 days of grueling arbitration was Ellen Presida, Diane Mazzola, and Mark Collins. And of course, Mindy Borneman's testimony shook the rafters of that arbitration, which clarified what the DOE could demand of staff during the workday. And the arbitration, in terms of money, wasn't so bad either. It gave a whole lot of money to members who were compelled to enter information onto CSIS outside of the workday. There's more. As my third decade, could you believe that? As VP was ending, again, President Mulgrew supported my purpose and conviction of providing the best supports for our young people in general and special education in respect to behavior. We constructed an initiative which provide hands-on supports and understandings for staff to work with all our students and their behavioral needs. With his support, Bridget Ryan's political connection, Dana Ashley's knowledge and leadership, and with DOE support, we are now in the 5th year of our Positive Learning Collaborative in 17 schools. Yeehaw! Still kicking. Finally, my participation in this new contract and its negotiations was inspirational. I have done many negotiations during my tenure here, and this was the most inclusive, ground-up process I have experienced. What is in this contract is legacy building. It is golden, and it will be a challenge to make it live in each school building. UFT leaders, it will take time, purpose, and conviction to implement all its parts with fidelity. And when you reach the other side of this mountain, you will turn around and smile and say, damn, that was hard work, and just look at what we manifested. So, yeah, you can, it's all about you. It's not about me, it's really about you. Because you're the reason we're able to do these achievements. So before I finish, I must acknowledge people who I believe will carry out our vision and legacy for our young people and the staff that serves them, especially since now I have retired. Yes, I have, sorry. I'm in the retiree chapter now. Oh, I got a welcome committee, I love it. So here are people I just want to stand up because these people are going to continue this legacy. Liz Truly, Emma Mendez, Kerry Yeffet, David Dorga and his team, Laura Tamburo, Lisa Arian, Lisa Viscovi, Gary Mera, Kim Polite, Monique Sanchez, Mitch, Moesha, Leroy Barr, Dana Ashley and PLC, Shelby Abrams and her team, Evelyn De Jesus and her team, David Hickey and the famous Salesforce, and especially Michael Mulgrew and my newly elected sister, Mary Jo Janisi. Come up over here, girl. So before my colleagues sit down, I want to say one thing about who they are and what they've evolved into. These are a group of people. This is a team that does not compete with each other, but completes each other. This is who we are. So I have to ask myself, did I leave a legacy? Don't answer that question yet. Did I leave something tangible in others? Have I permanently transformed my team and people? Will it live long after I am gone? Have my activities become achievements? Will I see what you are all going to create? Maybe, I don't know. But what I do know is that all of you are part of the Charlie Cogen lineage of legacy. And you are going to create and manifest such glory for education, unions, political action, local, statewide, national, international, and through these vehicles, save the soul of this country. Amen, and thank you, everybody.
Oh, girl, I love you, Carmen. I hope you had peace. I was praying for you.
My sister, take care of each other.